What is up, my good people? It's your girl T Sherran Young, bringing you another episode of Transparent Tea. One of these days, I'm gonna get like a actual little noise in the background, like applause and stuff. Let me talk to the producer man about this. But okay, here we go. Hot tea take. Tea's hot tea take of the week. I just want to say a big RIP to the victims that were lost in that wreck leaving the trail ride. As a parent, I don't know what that experience is as losing a child. I just know I don't want to ever experience that. I know what losing parents and siblings feel like, but I don't want to know that feeling, and my heart goes out to the ones that lost their child, their sister, a family member, period. I just want to send my prayers out, and I just want to let people know that I'm thinking of them, and I want to use this platform for anybody to know that I'm just not sitting here talking. It does something to me when I wake up and I check my phone, and it's a RIP post, and especially when it's someone losing a child and the pain of that. So I really want to put that out there. Okay, and with that being said, today's topic of the show is accessibility and what are we allowing people to do in our lives. Like when I mentioned on last week's show, one of the signs of self-hate is the victim martyrdom, and I only do this and people only want me because of this, because you allowing it, because you accessibility. But before I get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to the HBCU Lounge, because I was a guest last Wednesday and I think that I did a good job. I was nervous. I'm always nervous, but I had a good time. It was a great time. I had a great time doing the show, talking to the guys. So I hope they invite me on, and I hope I get another opportunity to showcase my mouth, because I'm just going to run in my mouth and just be talking. So I want to give a huge shout out to them, and the appreciation, and that somebody's noticing me, because I told y'all, I've been saying I'm about to start acting funny. So I just want y'all to know, like, y'all better say y'all know me now. I'm just saying, because I feel like it's only up from here. Now, I have to address something, and I feel like I shouldn't have to do that, being that the name of the show is Transparent Tea. The name of the show is not Transparent Everybody Business. It's Transparent Tea. Who is T? Me, T Sherran Young. That is me. I have said it multiple times that I am talking about myself. So if anybody feels a way about what I'm saying about myself, go seek help. I'm sorry, professional help. It's free. Medicaid pay for counseling. I know that. I'm a counselor. The only way I feel like I can help people is by me being transparent with myself. I've never got on here on this platform and judged anyone, because I'm going to talk about myself first, being that some comments might get misconstrued, because I felt like it was a troll on my last show, and I really couldn't address it then because I'm live and I've never seen it before, and I know that being in the public, since this is what I want to do, it's going to come at me, and I have to address it just this one time, hopefully, and I'm going to try to do it as professional as possible, because I'm a work in progress, and old T probably would have told him to meet me outside somewhere. So I talked about McDonald's. I didn't say McDonald's wasn't a good job. I never said that. The time that I was there, I paid my bills and took care of my kids. I did what I had to do. Being that the person was like, McDonald's is a good job and above minimum wage, because I didn't really put a lot of energy into the comments. But let me tell you one thing. I hated it. Me, T hated working at McDonald's. I've always said, and I've said it before, that I did not want my kids growing up and just remembering me as a manager at McDonald's. So I pushed myself. I never said I'm knocking on somebody's door and I'm working them bagging orders and, oh, y'all like working here? I never said that. I even encouraged people to take management positions when they were offered. I even encourage people that work with me. If you have worked with me and we had this conversation and you brought it up to me, oh, they trying to offer me a management position, I ain't taking it. Why not? Why not take it? Why not get that experience so you can go other places? I never talked about working at McDonald's. The comment, and then the troll was like, you'll never keep a man that way. Whatever I said, you'll never keep a man that way. First of all, I don't think you can actually keep it. You can't keep a person. It's not a pet. A person is not a pet. Keeping a man is so subjective because what are you keeping exactly? What am I going to do? Am I going to dumb myself down just to keep this man? Why do I want to keep this man? I don't want a man that wants to be kept. I want to be in a partnership. I want him to elevate me. I'm going to elevate him. So now I'm not in the business of keeping a man. And if I can't be real with myself and that man that I'm entertaining can't accept the fact that I'm real with myself and being transparent with myself, he needs help. Because people jump into relationships all the time or situationships all the time and have not healed. I am one of those people. I can't be bringing trauma into something new and then projecting that trauma. And then when I get called on it, oh, well, you know, I lost my puppy when I was 10. And I'm still making people pay for that. Like, that's not what I'm about. The show is transparency. So going forward, I guess I'm going to have to be a little remedial and do a disclaimer. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do because it's going to be about me. I'm never going to be on here judging people because why am I judging? I can't judge anything. I'm not the pot or the kettle. In most days, I feel like that because I'm a counselor. And for me to tell my clients to do something and I know for sure that I'm not doing it, that's just me looking at myself. I don't have a high horse. I'm thankful for this platform so I can get to talk to people. But what I'm not about to do is sit here and judge another person. Now, if y'all come across a channel like that, and if I ever say anything, I will apologize. I'm going to take accountability. If I said anything that you felt like that was judging, first of all, look at yourself because I'm talking about me. Because look at yourself because it's transparency. So if anything resonates with you or you feel convicted about whatever I said, then that just means you need to look at yourself. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at Taco Bell. And the McDonald's situation since McDonald's is a good job, and I ain't negating that with nobody. It just wasn't good enough for me. It wasn't good enough for my kids. Like, I want my kids to look up to something. My kids are not going to look up to me and be like, oh, yeah, she was just a manager at McDonald's and then I'm going to stop. Oh, yeah, she just graduated high school, so I got to go to college. I actually had this conversation with my oldest daughter. You didn't go to college, and I didn't. But my thing is, I wanted her to be better. I want her to do more. And I ended up going to college, and I love that decision, and I'm pushing my second daughter to go to college as well. So this, again, is about me. And that comment, it bothered me, and I thought about it for a few days because I remember when I first got in my head that I was going to publish this book, and it took me 7 years to write my first book because I didn't have the accessibility to get to a computer. I didn't have that. Raising kids and being on your own, a laptop is a luxury. It was a luxury back then to me, and I couldn't afford it. So I would go to the library, I would sit up at a friend's house, I would borrow laptops until the book actually came out. And I stayed at McDonald's so long because at first I didn't have any opportunities to go anywhere. I put in the resumes, couldn't go anywhere. And Mr. Griggs really supported me. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not bashing anybody. This is my truth. So I'm not going to sit up here and bash anybody, but I'm not going to hold back on the truth as well. This is my platform. My thing is, I decided, well, if I'm stuck at McDonald's and I can't go anywhere, I might as well make the most out of it. Let me go to Hamburger U. Let me become a store manager. Let me learn all the information I need to learn so I can be great at this versus quitting here and going to Burger King and starting over. Quitting here, going to Whataburger and starting over. And again, I'm not judging anybody because of that. That's your choice. It was not good enough for me. And I remember this conversation that my supervisor, Miss Angela, told me because I'm grown. This is what she said to me. She pulled me to the side. You'll never be a store manager because Mr. Griggs thinks that when this book blows up, you're going to quit on him. She said that to my face. You talk about a dream killer, but I'm supposed to sit here and defend it. I'm supposed to be like, okay, I'm comfortable here, cry like a baby, because I mentioned on the last episode, I cried only because I knew I couldn't walk out because I have 4 little people at the house looking up to me. I didn't have that luxury to just give up and start over. So with that being said, this show is about me. Everything, every topic is, I'm going to basically be wrapped around it because it's transparency. I have to help people to be more transparent. I feel like I have to do that. And like I said, if anything that I have said that has hurt anyone or anyone felt judged or anything like that, I apologize. But this is going to be the only apology, because going forward, it's about me and it's about my truths. And I want to talk about it. I feel comfortable enough talking about it. So this is gonna be my little segue until my topic, because I allowed that person to get under my skin. I allowed that person to get some of my energy. I allowed that troll to get under my skin, and I have to be. And it was a teachable moment for me. I felt like it was teachable because that was the first time I've ever experienced anything outside where I felt personally attacked. I did, and I really couldn't. I could have, but I realized I'm gonna have to handle stuff like that on a different level. So I let that person get that part of me and get me riled up, and it kind of scattered me a little bit, shook me up, and I went home and I vented to my daughter, and it was just so much stuff that I said that I'm not gonna say on this public platform because it's gonna turn into a personal attack. So I'm gonna just leave it at that rather, and I'm gonna talk about being accessible to the people that mean you no good or people that's beating you down. So when I say being accessible to me is easily obtainable. Like, you can pick up your phone and call me and I'm gonna always pick up. You can pick up and send me a message and I'm gonna always answer. To me, that's accessible. And we're always accessible if we seek validation. I could be wrong. You can be accessible in business. That's different. Accessible in your personal life, especially when you feel like you're not getting anything in return, if anything is not reciprocated. I feel like we should be able to cut that off. What are we allowing? Why are we allowing these people in our spaces? It could be family, it could be grown kids, it could be a job, it can be a relationship, and it's stuck on it goes, I think it ties into trauma bonding as well. So if you feel like you can't get anything out of a person, or a person is always asking you and then you're always saying, well, I'm a good person and I don't know why they do me like this, and I don't know why, you can just say no. And no is a complete sentence. You ain't gotta explain no to nobody. You can say no, hang up the phone, click, or you can just not answer. I feel like if you're in a position, or you feeling like you're in that position where someone is using you, you control that narrative. A person can't use you unless you let them. You're there. If they want something out of you, if you have this idea, you have $1 million ideas, how would they get it unless you're talking about it? That means you picked up the phone for them. Or you answered a text message. Instead of letting people find out on their own, instead of letting people figure out on their own. Say somebody don't have a car and they need a ride. We got public transportation everywhere. Have Lyft. Now, you can be nice if they give you gas and stuff like that, but if you're always there when they're answering that, when you're answering, they calling you or whatever, that person is going to keep using you. Well, they're not offering you gas, but right now I ain't got it, but I'm going to get you the next time. They call you about the bed in the middle of the night. I feel like you control that narrative. By you controlling that narrative, you control how people view you. People are going to perceive you as a pushover. They perceive you as a pushover, you're very accessible. I have to work on that myself. I have to work on not being so accessible. I'm getting better at it now because I know how to say no. Oh, I ain't got it. Oh, nah, I ain't with all that. But before, especially being a manager to teenagers, I always wanted to be liked. I wanted to be the cool one. I wanted to be the fun one. So, of course, I was accessible. They needed a ride to work. I'm going to give them a ride to work because my shift going to be short. They want to go hang out with somebody. Hey, I never had a childhood. Let's hang out. Very inappropriate behavior, but I did not cut it off, and I was always accessible. And I feel like, getting strong and working on a work in progress, I feel like you can do that. But it's not like saying that you have to cut everybody off. I never said that. I just feel like don't be so accessible to people that don't mean you any good. And you can go on and on and on, and I can throw out different scenarios, but that might take forever. So I don't want to do that. And I just feel like there's a cutoff point. You could be blocking a genuine person from your view by allowing somebody that doesn't mean you any good to be in your presence. So let's work on that. let's work on what accessibility looks like. Accessibility to you, don't pick up the phone. Or if you can identify that, you have to be able to identify what a person is. You have to be, this person, you feel like, okay, they only call me when they want something. You can control that narrative. You control it. They don't, and you can't say, well, oh, I'm such a nice person. That excuse won't go over all the time, because if they keep hearing it, then they're going to see how much they can get. It's just like when you squeeze an orange or a lemon and you're getting the juice out, you're going to squeeze until you can't get it anymore, and that's what they're going to do. Then after you get all the juice, whatever you need out of the orange or the lemon, then what you do? You throw it away. And people go through life using people like that because people are allowing them to use them. When you can cut it off, it can just be like, that's it, no more. Learning how to be by yourself is a good way of knowing that you're, comfortable with not being accessible. Learning how to not always be in the mix of things. Learning what a real friend is. What is a real friend? A real friend is not just going to pick up the phone and call you whenever they need something. Hey, how you doing? They checking on you. A real friend is not let me use your car to go see such and such. Let me, help me cheat on my man. Help me, lie for me. Like, to me, that's not a real friend, because I wouldn't do that to my friends. I wouldn't, if I feel like in a situation like that, you need to leave. Like, why I gotta lie? And I'm not a good liar per se. Don't put me on the spot. You gotta coach me. I'm one of the ones you gotta pull me to the side and give me a little homework lesson. So don't put me on the spot with a lie, because it's never gonna go right. Never gonna go right at all. Being okay by yourself is always a good start, because I come from it wasn't too big, but it was big enough, in the house with my grandmother, my mom, my uncle, my brothers. That was a big enough. Then when I lost my mom, had to adjust with her not being there, but it was still a house full of people. So then when it was just me and my kids, it was scary for me, because it's like, okay, the kids are babies. I heard everything. And before then, I was always accessible. And I felt like people owed me something, losing my mom and losing my grandma. I felt like people owed me something. So I wanted people to be accessible to me, because I felt like I needed that. And I had to learn the hard way. And it's not saying that I was bitter or anything, but I had to learn the hard way that people are not going to always drop everything for you. And you can be the same way. Stop dropping everything for people that don't mean you any good. That's allowing accessibility. Stop allowing it. Stop allowing it. Somebody only calling you at 1 o'clock in the morning because they want to see you. And it's 23 other hours in the day. What was happening to the 23 other hours in the day? But now, okay, getting the benefit of the doubt, they work 9 to 5. They can't have their phone, because I actually worked in a job where I could not have my phone. I would tell people that, okay, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just at work and I can't have my phone right now. Boom. Keeping me in the know, letting you know what's going on. But also, booty calls, he using you. Unless y'all come up with that agreement that that's all y'all want, but don't be expecting dates and stuff because you a booty call. Don't be expecting dates and stuff. So if all he do is calling you after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, anything after 10, unless they working like to midnight or whatever, y'all got this already, etched out, like he text you on your lunch break, I'm gonna come through. But at that time, when you get to a certain age, it's like, I don't want this anymore. You should be able to be okay with that, where it shouldn't be, repercussions. And I get that a lot of people don't take kindly to people leaving them alone. And I told this story on the show that I was on last week. I told people I'm a serial ghoster, meaning I will not respond to your calls if I feel something weird, if I feel something shaky, if your attitude is different. But my story is me trying to break up with the guy and the guy hit me in the eye, and I still got a cut over my eye now because I told you I ain't want to be with you. So going forward, I was like, you only get one time to show me, because I've never been dealing with an abusive relationship, and I'm not going to speak on that. But you hit me one time, and I'm gone. And you know, from movies I've watched, from videos that I've seen, I hear a lot of women say, well, they were too scared to leave. And I get that. And I was scared for a while after that, like changing my phone number, changing my shift at work. So, you know, not being accessible to that. And I get that. And my story is not like any other story. So I had to change the narrative, and you know, that's before I started taking accountability. So yeah, I played the victim a lot. You know, I played the victim in that situation. Accessibility, it's just like when you're thinking about parking, when you're going to a busy shopping center, you're gonna look for the parking space closest to, you know, to the entrance, so you won't have to walk that far. Especially when you go to Walmart and you're driving around in a circle. It's just like just to get to that space, you know, so you can get in there. And that's how people view you. If you are always accessible to a person is always going to view you as someone they can always pick up. Now, in the case of being a strong friend, everybody has a strong friend, but do you check on your strong friends? Or checking on your strong friends, or they check, or if you are the strong friend, do people check on you? Because we're talking about accessibility. So if you're always accessible and they're not checking on you, and you could be going through something. We don't know. A lot of people don't know how to talk about their pain, and therapy is just being vocalized, you know, socially. It's being accepted. I mean, some people still don't accept it. They still tell you to pray about it, which is fine. You can do that. You can do both. You can absolutely do both. I'm not judging. I'm not negating that. But I'm saying it's other avenues of you to vent. You know, being accessible. Just say if you're the strong friend. You're the strong friend and you call somebody. If you're that strong friend, or if you're an empath, or if you're a good friend and you can notice something is different in that friend's voice. You notice something's different, so of course you're going to try to check on that friend. Is that friend checking on you? Do you have anybody in your life right now that will genuinely check on you? And if you do, good.